Today we're looking at Idaho Power, batteries, solar, a site model, some data put together for there. Just to give an elementary basic 101 to what it looks like solar and batteries in this utility. If you're interested in taking a look in further detail, let me know and I can go into more data. If you have a specific utility you want to take a look at, feel free to leave a comment and just say, hey, I want this utility here in Florida or California, whatever it is. All right, hope you enjoy the video. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're going to talk about solar in Idaho Power territory. We're going to go up here to Idaho. We've got Idaho Power, we've got Rocky Mountain Power, and Avista in Idaho. So we're going to talk about Idaho Power, which serves this area over here. Let's just dive right into Idaho Power's net metering stuff. First, let's take a look at ChatGPT. It gives us some really cool stuff. Current export rates as of the latest effect, Schedule 6, prior to the proposed export credit rate update starting June 1st, 2025. So they just had this thing come out. Period season, here's our summer. So they have a on-peak and off-peak demand. This is what it used to be. They were paying on summer off-peak was 5.6 cents per kilowatt hour, and then non-summer is 4.8. And now, and also during the summer, they were paying 16.99 cents for your solar exporting. Now they're going to pay 14 cents, and the summer off peak they're going to pay less than 2 pennies, and then the non-summer for all hours, anything that's not within that 4-month window from June 1st to September 30th, they are only going to give you less than a penny for your electricity. Less than a penny. That's a joke. It's a joke. This is ChatGPT, so let's take a look at actual documentation from Idaho Power. This is the time periods for export credit rate. Just goes into a little bit more official. On peak, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Off peak is 11 p.m. to 3 p.m. Basically anything else outside of that. Also including the time of year, June 1st to September 30th. That's our on peak. They're not charging Sundays. So Sundays are going to be on off peak. So it's Monday through Saturday, except the holidays and Sundays. So anything else is going to be on off peak, meaning they give you 2 cents. If you give power to them, they say, hey, I bought this expensive solar system and I'm going to give you a kilowatt hour of energy that I've paid for, and you're going to get this kilowatt hour of energy. And that energy goes to my neighbor, where my neighbor is going to use that path of least resistance. Power is going to go to your neighbor. They're using that power if you're exporting to the grid. So that's going to happen. They're going to give you 2 cents on this off peak. Non-summer season off peak, they give you less than a penny. Less than a penny. That is 8 months. For 8 months, they will give you less than a penny. And here we go. Export credit rate. Summer is 14 cents. Off peak is 1.7. Non-summer, there's your less than a penny. Pitiful. Pitiful. Do not give power to Idaho Power. That is absolute waste of money. If you do that, it's going to happen based on your solar system, your battery capacity. It's going to happen. There's not really a way around it. What you can do is try and size your battery to not pull power from the grid as much as possible. So if you're pulling power from the grid, let's scroll up here to Schedule 6. Right here, Schedule 6. You're going to have a $15 a month per charge. No matter what, every month you'll have $15 charge. This is what they charge you on a tiered rate for the first 800 kilowatt hours, 801 to 2,000, and over 2,000. So summer they're charging about 10 cents, 12 cents, 14 cents. Non-summer they're charging you 8.7, 9, and 10. But we don't want to pull power. If you've got solar, we don't want to pull power from the grid. We don't want to push power from the grid, push power to the grid. There's also a time of use rate, which I just would not recommend doing, because they're literally going to charge you 24 cents for your on peak, which is just when people are using power the most, they're going to charge you 24 the most. It just doesn't make sense. I would not recommend it. So, and there's our off peak and on peak. Man. All right, so we've got a site model that I put together for a solar system that if I was to put solar on my house or a family member's house, I would try and size it at a sweet spot. This is just a random house I found in the middle of Boise. This house whatsoever. Just said, hey, let me search this map, and voila, there's a funky looking solar system. Would not have installed this solar system the way these guys installed it. I think it looks kind of funky, but it is what it is. They got it installed. Congratulations to them. Nice south facing system. They've got a west facing roof over here. Let's take a look at the design I threw together on it. I estimated their energy usage for 16,000 kilowatt hours. Let's go to right here, 16,000 kilowatt hours of energy per year. This software puts together just an estimate. I say, yeah, this person probably has LED lighting. Most people do now for their heating. They're in the city, so I'm going to guess gas is what the heating is. Hot water is gas as well. They are going to have air conditioning, no electric vehicle, no pool. They just are using a bunch of power. 16,000 is a little bit higher than usual. I would say the average, just a little bit higher than the average solar system. I mean, energy usage for a house. And then this just based on those adjustments that I threw in there for gas and electric and air conditioning, it just threw these numbers in for the graph. So this is just what we're going to go off of on our design. All right, so yep, that's our design, and I've got it here at 123% energy offset, meaning the solar system will produce 19,600 kilowatt hours per year. That is a number backed by PV watts. The software that I'm using is called Aurora Solar. I spend way too much money on this software. It's crazy how much it costs, but it is very accurate when it comes to building out a project. So it's very nice to use. It's a great tool to have if you're using a lot. If you're not using a lot, don't freaking do it. It's way too much money. So yeah, 123% energy offset. Annual energy is 19,600 kilowatt hours. So I oversized it. Most people are sizing solar systems at like 100% energy offset. And I don't think that's a great idea if you are utilizing batteries and trying to not pull power or push power to the grid. And here's why. We're going to go to the storage section. I just threw about 16 kilowatt hours of storage capacity onto this solar system. Batteries, that goes into a whole nother talk on what kind of brands and what I would recommend on that. But if you're not willing to service the equipment yourself, just by doing YouTube videos or calling up the manufacturer to get their direct advice on something, then are you easily able to find an electrician or solar installer that would be willing to come and work on that type of a product? If you get some off the wall brand that is not UL listed and this is kind of a big old pain in the butt, then most electricians and solar installers are not going to want to come and work on your stuff. So get something that's decent and has a little bit of name recognition behind it. That's my battery talk for right now. Let's take a look at grid usage. This solar only and battery, solar plus battery, I do not understand why they have these numbers in here. Don't look at that. This is really just a complete guess. Like I said, I put 16,000 kilowatt hours and then the software just throws in, but the estimate would be on the monthly / daily. So this is the daily usage based on the estimates. Starting at midnight over on the left, ending at midnight over on the right. That yellow is solar, dark blue is discharging from the battery, orange is grid usage, light blue is charging the battery from solar is charging the battery, and then the purple or red, I don't know what color that is, export to the grid. That is your excess solar production that will just, there's nowhere for it to go, meaning your house is not using up that much power. Your battery is 100% charged. There's nowhere else for that power to go. So we're going to push it to the grid and get like 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., like 2 cents or whatever it is. Crazy stuff. Yeah. So 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. is when the solar is really starting to kick in here. This is in the month of March. We are charging basically just the solar is powering the house. At 9 a.m., the solar is powering the house along with charging the battery because we're going to deplete the battery at nighttime. 11 a.m., solar is powering the house plus charging the battery even more. At 12 p.m., right about lunchtime, the solar is powering the house, topping off the battery, that light blue. And then now we're at that point where there's excess power, where there's the battery is 100% charged, and we don't have anything. There's no more loads going on. So we're just going to go ahead and push the excess power to the grid, get that 2 cents. Now, 5 p.m., that dark blue there, meaning the solar is powering the house, but not quite enough. So we're going to start pulling a little bit of power from the battery at 5 p.m. And then from 6 p.m. all the way till just about 11 p.m., that battery is going to power the house until 11 p.m. And then we're going to that's going to deplete the battery, leaving about 10% backup reserve just to have a little bit of extra juice for if the grid was to go down. You got a little bit of backup. But a lot of people would just put this at 0, or some people are like, know what, I really want 20% battery reserve in the case of a power outage. But my theory on it is deplete it down to 0 if you want to, because that'll get you down to midnight, 1 a.m. for your battery power in your house. And then the solar is just going to come back up at 8 a.m. in the morning to charge your battery. So deplete that battery as much as you want, because the solar is going to charge it up. You've got plenty of excess solar to charge it up during the day. That's my recommendation on it. Now, that was the month of March. Let's take a look at, let's say July is the longest sun month. Or I just did August, so we're in August. So in August, the battery is going to be able, the dark blue battery is able to power the whole entire house until about 5 a.m. And then from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., we got to use a little bit of grid power, not much, just a little bit. And then sun comes back up at 7 a.m. and we're charging the battery. Battery's 100% charged by 11 a.m. now. We're in August. We got some better solar production on this solar system. Again, every solar system is going to be different, so just pay attention to how you've got your solar laid out. If you have a bunch of east-facing solar panels and no south or west, then you might be able to charge your battery up by 10 a.m. because you got solar facing east, so it's pushing a lot more power in the morning compared to at nighttime. It's not going to have that much power. Vice versa, if you got a west-facing solar system, it's going to take you till maybe 1 p.m. to charge your battery if it's fully west. In this scenario, we got south, mainly south, along with some west. So this looks really good for August. Now, last thing we're going to do is go down to December. And from 1 p.m., we're literally discharging the battery until 5 p.m. And then the battery is going to be dead by 5 p.m. The reason for that is, one, the solar is not powering the battery up that well. The battery is being used a lot in the wintertime. We've got a lot of electricity draw coming from lights being on a lot longer. You use a lot more electricity for the most part in the wintertime. Even though this is gas heat, I mean, again, this is a estimate that this model just threw together. So take it with a grain of salt, but it's basically saying your battery's going to be dead before midnight. And then you're going to be using the grid a lot from 6 p.m. till the sun comes back up. There's just not that much solar production here in Idaho during the wintertime. Not that much solar production. So if this is something that is concerning to you, you would need to get more solar to charge to have solar boosted up more and add more battery capacity. If wintertime is a concern to you, then you need to add more solar and add more batteries. That's the ticket. It's more expensive to do it, but let's add a battery here. So I got 16 kilowatt hours right now. Let's throw 23.5 kilowatt hours of storage. Let's let it simulate. Again, we have not added more solar panels to this yet in this model, so it's just going to simulate for the battery. Okay, so March, we're at 23.5 kilowatt hours of storage. That's about where we're at in March, from March to begin with. Let's take a look at July. That can cover you all the way through. You're basically off grid in the summertime. That's ideal. You are pushing power to the grid quite a bit here, but hey, if you're pushing power to the grid, this is the time to do it in the summer months from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. But hey, you got a lot actually from 12 to 2. But let's take a look at December. Yeah, adding 23.5 kilowatt hours in the wintertime here on this model. it just doesn't make sense in the wintertime. So you're going to have power bills in the wintertime. I would just expect that. There's not much you can do besides reduce your energy usage in the wintertime to make sure that you don't have power bills with this. Or add a bunch of solar and a bunch of battery capacity to try and get off the grid as much as you possibly can. That would be the most realistic way to go about that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about right there for Idaho Power. If I was you, I would try and size as large of a solar system as you can, large of a battery as you can, get off the grid as much as possible. We just took a look at a west-facing roof along with a south-facing roof. Each model will look different. If we had panels on the east side and west side only with no south-facing stuff, that might look different as well. And to be honest with you, east-west facing roofs will probably perform better than a south-facing roof. Before, it was always south-facing roof is best when you had one-to-one net metering, but now with this net metering structure, or net billing structure, I should say, east-west is really good because east panels, you're getting the battery charged up real quick. And then if you have west-facing panels, that is allowing the afternoon energy to produce longer during the afternoons. During the middle of the day is when we're pushing a bunch of excess power to the grid during the middle of the day. And if we can not have as much middle of the day production and focus it more on east-west, I think you'll see a better return on your solar system. That's just kind of what I'm thinking there. All right, so that's all I got for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or like anything you want to see in Idaho Power territory or any other utility,